Ciao Fabri, welcome back in the podcast. Today is one of those days that mark the summer and the transfer window. We are here with Men in Blazers, of course, as every week because we have a big news about Nico Williams, and let's start with that.
Yeah, we have to start with Nico Williams, and it's a big bomb on the market because Nico this morning has committed his future to Athletic Club from Bilbao, and so it's massive news for Athletic, and it's also an important news, obviously, for Barcelona, who have been in negotiations for weeks to get Nico Williams again after what happened 1 year ago. Now Barcelona tried again very hard this summer. After was Nico Williams to offer himself to Barca almost 3-4 weeks ago, with his agent visiting Barca director Deco, offering this possibility, negotiating personal terms. So the agreement on personal terms between Nico and Barca was done, but now the player decides to stay at Athletic Club, sign new deal at the contract. Just to give some context, 10-year contract, 2035, so very long contract, a record salary for Athletic Club. I'm told that this is going to be more than 10 million euros net per season from Athletic for Nico Williams, so a fantastic salary, a huge salary, and an incredible contract for one of the best players in the history of the club. And so the agreement is now done, signed, a big shock for many, but we already told you about some issues in this story, and so Athletic Club have been excellent in working behind the scenes about this, convince the player, get the green light, and keep Nico Williams at the club.
Let's now talk about the Barcelona side of the story. So why the deal didn't happen and what was also the reaction from the club?
Yeah, let's explain a bit this situation, because we said, and I can confirm once again, that Barcelona had an agreement with Nico Williams on the contract. 6-year deal, 2031, the salary around 7-8 million euros net per season, and also included. So everything was ready in terms of contract and personal terms, and also commission for the agent. So between Nico and Barca, everything was okay. But then there was one issue, and it was a major issue for this story, and was that the agent of Nico Williams asked Barcelona to have guarantees in paper, so as part of the contract, as an extra document, but in paper, not a verbal agreement, not a gentleman agreement, for the registration of Nico Williams. So the contract was okay, the intention of Barcelona was clear, but then Nico Williams camp started asking for these guarantees, for Nico to be registered. In case Barcelona were not able to register Nico Williams by the end of August, the camp of the player also wanted the release clause to be included in the agreement for Nico Williams to leave the club with immediate effect and pick any other solution. Obviously, for Barcelona, it was impossible to accept those conditions. The message from Barca to Nico was, or you trust us, as Dani Olmo did 1 year ago, as other players did in the recent years, or for us, it's impossible to accept to put a release clause and let you go as a free after a few weeks. So Barcelona rejected this request from the player. The player didn't want to accept Barcelona conditions, so the negotiations was completely broken, and Athletic Club, as I mentioned before, were able to work behind the scenes of this, reach an agreement over new deal. They never gave up, because this new contract has been on the table for weeks now, with Athletic always hoping, always trying, and now they've been successful in their attempt to keep Nico Williams.
Over these weeks, we spoke many times about Barcelona, Athletic, and also potentially other options. Did he have actually other options or not?
Yes, because now it's easy to say, okay, Nico only decided for the money, but there is one more factor to say, that okay, the contract from Athletic Club is for sure better than the contract financially, than the contract offered by Barcelona. As I mentioned, Barca was around 7-8 million euros net per season, Athletic is going to be more than 10. But if Nico wanted to go for the money, I can guarantee 100% he had also a big proposal from Bayern. Bayern were ready to offer 12 million euros to Nico Williams, also with some special bonuses in case he won the Ballon d'Or, in case he won the league, the Champions League. So Bayern prepared a really important counter proposal for Nico Williams, and he said no immediately because his priority was Barcelona. Then Barcelona deal collapsed. He had the chance to reopen negotiations with Bayern, and he didn't want to do that. So he really decided to stay at Athletic Club, and credits to the Spanish club for making it happen.
Talking about the reaction also of Barcelona, do you think that looking at the future, this might be the end between Nico Williams and Barcelona, or we leave some doors open?
Look, in the market, I always leave doors open, but I think in this case, it's going to be very difficult to change this story in the future. Because 1 year ago, Barcelona wanted Nico Williams, and Nico didn't open his doors to Barcelona. So after spending some weeks in talks and talking about 2024, after the Euros, the situation got complicated, and then Nico ended up staying at Athletic. They signed Dani Olmo from Barca because they felt that Dani Olmo really wanted the move compared to Nico Williams. And now it was Nico Williams to offer himself to Barcelona this summer. It was Nico Williams' agent to reach out to Deco and say, okay, we want to come, let's discuss, let's find a way. And then the deal didn't happen once again for an issue with the player. So, I think at this point, it's going to be really complicated to change this relationship between Nico Williams and Barcelona. More than the player himself, I think it's also about his camp and Barcelona. It's specifically about his agent and Barcelona. So, or this situation changes, or I don't think this is going to be something that we can see happening in the future, but Nico, again, is very happy with his current situation. Otherwise, he was not going to sign that contract at Athletic. And so I think full focus now for Nico Williams is going to be on Athletic Club.
We were surprised last year when he stayed at the club. We're probably even more surprised this year after all you are explaining right now on his deal potentially with Barcelona. How did Athletic Club manage to keep the player at the club for 2 years consecutively right now?
I think this is really a special club. We always mention that, and it's always worth mentioning that. We always know how special is everything they do at Athletic Club, about the recruiting of the players, about the strategy they have, about the identity they have. So it's for sure a special club. Is not the most special in the world, for sure. But I think it's also about how they work. For example, the director, Mikel Gonzalez, 1 year ago, when there were the Euros, decided to travel to Germany to speak to Nico and to prepare the plan for him to stay at the club again last summer. This summer, they were once again working behind the scenes and never giving up. Sometimes in the market, you see a player with the desire to join a bigger club, and then the club starts giving up and saying, okay, the player is going to go, so let's negotiate, let's find a way. Athletic never decided to give up. They always wanted to try, negotiate, push, offer new contract, tell Nico and his family, in case the deal is collapsing, we are ready, we want to offer you important money. So Athletic really never gave up, and so credits to them for their strategy. And so I think it's really important to mention that sometimes in football also you can fight for something and you can be successful.
Now Barcelona fans want to know what's next. Who are they signing? Because they didn't sign Nico.
Yeah, they have a dream target, and to be honest, this was the first target they had in the summer transfer window before the Nico Williams opportunity appeared on the market and Barcelona decided to try. But before that, Barcelona already wanted to go for Luis Diaz at Liverpool. So Barcelona love Luis Diaz. People at the club love Luis Diaz. They wanted to go for him, and they expect Barcelona to try again. Then, say that Barcelona want to try. We also have to mention that this is not going to be an easy deal or a fast deal or anything like that. Forget about that, because Liverpool already closed their doors to Bayern in the recent days. It was 2-3 days ago when Bayern called for Luis Diaz. Liverpool said not for sale. The player is not going anywhere. And then earlier in the window, when Barcelona made a first approach for Luis Diaz, in that case, Liverpool already said no to Barca. So they already closed their doors to this solution with Barcelona. So I don't think it's going to be easy at all. I don't think Liverpool have any intention to let the player leave this summer. I think it would take something really crazy in terms of financial proposal or strong in terms of player position, but at the moment Liverpool insists on their position to keep Luis Diaz at the club. So I think it's not going to be easy, but I also can tell you for sure 100% that Barcelona will try. Barcelona will make new approaches, and Barcelona will see if this deal is going to be feasible and possible for this summer transfer window.
So regardless, Luis Diaz, should we also keep another name in the radar for Barcelona, other names in the shortlist?
Yeah, I would keep also other names, because as we mentioned, Luis Diaz is not that easy. One of these names for sure can be still Marcus Rashford, because Marcus Rashford is a player that already in January was high on the shortlist at Barcelona. Then the deal didn't happen in January because Ansu Fati rejected all the proposals and decided to stay at the club. Now Ansu is out, Ansu left, he's at Monaco on loan, they need a new winger. Marcus Rashford is basically waiting for Barcelona. Marcus Rashford would love to play for Barca. Marcus Rashford has this big desire to be a Barcelona player one day. Every time he spoke in public about Barcelona and their players, it was super positive. So Marcus Rashford will be super keen on this move. He also has more possibilities, it's not only Barca for Rashford, but let me say that the player is giving a priority to Barcelona. So I think there will be new contacts. I think there will be new talks also for Marcus Rashford. is an option that can be easier in terms of opportunity with the club, because Rashford is going to leave Manchester United in this summer transfer window. He's not part of the plans for the club and for Ruben Amorim. And so Luis Diaz is probably the new dream target, something that they already wanted before Nico Williams, and so I expect Barcelona to try again. If Luis Diaz is not going to be possible, I think Marcus Rashford remains an absolutely strong and concrete possibility for Barcelona.
Last one for today, probably the hottest name right now in the media is also Denzel Dumfries. You revealed something about a release clause in the contract with Inter. So what can we say to the Barcelona fans about this potential deal?
Yeah, what we can say is that Barcelona have an interest in Denzel Dumfries, but it was even before imaging the excellent performances he did with Inter against Barca in Champions League. So Barca already February, March started calling to understand the situation of Dumfries. Barca were aware of release clause, not all the details of that, but aware of the release clause, and so Barca were well informed on the player. Then remember that the release clause is 25 million euros. One payment, so immediately 25, no installments, no different payment terms, and also by mid-July, so in basically 10 days this deal can expire in terms of release clause. Then the clubs are always free to find a solution together in terms of agreement, but the release clause is 15th of July, 25 million euros, one solution. So let's see what's going to happen. At the moment, Barcelona have not started any advanced negotiations for Dumfries, also because I think their focus remains on the winger at the moment, but there is this clause, and so let's see if Barcelona or any other club will decide to activate it, because it would be huge for one of the best right backs in Europe in this moment, a player who did fantastic for Inter last season, especially in Champions League.
Thank you, Fabri, for today. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys. Ciao, ciao, ciao.